Up next, we had, this is let's call it a deck building challenge. I had someone send in I think it was a $75 donation. Usually for $50+ donations, I'll do this. They were like, hey, can you build what you think could potentially be the most competitive version of a modern deck with Journey to Eternity? There are a couple people asking about the card, Tireless Tracker. The easiest way, and this is just a good comment on building with neat ideas in Modern in general, the reason why most people's fun ideas just fall flat on their faces in Modern is because you put too much clunk in it. It's very, very easy to put too many expensive cards in a deck like this. So our deck building requirement starts with this card that's 3 mana, and then in order to leverage the value off of this card, we need some expensive creatures in our deck to be bringing back into play. And then I added Fulminator Mage as another way to enable Journey to Eternity. So, basically, we have to play these expensive cards, which means once we land on Tireless Tracker 2, we then have too many cards, and we're just gonna die to lots of things that are just like good and modern naturally. So I think playing a card like Tireless Tracker in this deck would be very wrong because it just adds too much expensive stuff to the archetype. Yeah, that's the problem with control decks in general. You need your answers to line up well. You don't have a good way to gain health. Your ways to actually take over the game don't really actually take over the game. I think that'd be a little silly, Chris. Yep, Stream Decker is a good reminder. I should post on Twitter too. Like we'll pull some people in with this one. Look at that. Look at this hand. This is just like we drew it up. This deck looks like other green-black X decks may struggle versus this main full mage. I'm not sure, IHJs. I feel like your sentence is missing some words there. So again, I feel like the people that are asking about Eternal Witness and Tireless Tracker, you just missed the kind of wrap up there. You can't put that many expensive cards in a deck like this. You can't put a bunch of cards that cost 3+ mana in a modern deck and expect to not just die, chat. In significant portions of modern games, if your deck is full of 3+ mana cards, you're just gonna die with a bunch of cards in your hand. Oh, yeah, I agree, IHJs. I think we have a bit of a leg up in green black mirrors. I concur with your assessment. I think banning decks out of modern for the sake of banning decks is absurd and stupid. Like, don't make changes with a purpose and a goal. Don't make changes just to make changes. Now, they could have spot removal in response to this, which is, you know, one of the reasons why, and they have Electrolyze too, so... Which, I wouldn't be surprised if this card is not particularly competitive in Modern, just because of the volume of removal that this format has in it. But, I think we're supposed to just jam there. That's like... It would be a 1-for-1, except the removal spell cantrip there. It's possible I should have just jammed Liliana the Veil there. Get logic knotted. Untapped land. I think a Fulminator Mage. I guess secure the waste. Rev for 2. Sure. I might be getting cryptic commanded, chat. Oh. Huh. Who's getting Wrath of Godded? Maybe I should have killed their Hallowed Fountain on my turn. Yeah, maybe I should have killed their Hallowed Fountain on my turn. Would have kept him off the white for the sweeper. We'll try and pulse this, so when they counter us, we'll concede. That's the worst. Our spell resolved, and now we have to keep playing Magic. I'm not gonna keep playing Magic. This is, just kind of interactive deck, wrong half problem, you know. We drew Fatal Pushes and stuff, and they're a control deck, which is not the stuff we want against them, so, you know, we feel bad about it. It's pretty clean in and outs there. It's almost like I thought about this deck when I was building it. Have six good cuts here and 6 like reasonable cards to bring in. No, they just straight up wouldn't have had enough mana to cast the Wrath of God. They wouldn't have been able to crack their second field and Wrath in the same turn. The 1-drop creature in the sideboard is Fume Spitter, which is a cheap way to enable Journey to Eternity. Come on now, you don't know modern staple Fume Spitter? Kids these days not knowing their modern staples. How do y'all get by in Magic not knowing cards like Fume Spitter? This isn't amazing, but it's fine, right? It's got 4 lands, and we want to make a lot of land drops in the stack, and we got 2 utility lands in with it. I think Golgari Charm, you could almost argue, is strictly better than Abrupt Decay in this matchup. Golgari Charm counters Supreme Verdict, it cleans up Secure the Waste tokens. It still destroys enchantments. The basically only downside to it is when it's destroying enchantments that can counterspell it. You have, to be fair, they saw Journey of Eternity, which is technically a graveyard card, right? Like, so I actually don't fault anyone for bringing in Surgical against this stack, right? Like, they, especially after they see the Journey, like they could maybe assume we have other graveyard shenanigans. We actually don't have other graveyard shenanigans, but it's not unrealistic for them to assume we could potentially have other graveyard shenanigans. All right, chat. We need our Journey to Eternity, and we could flip the thing. All right. What do you got? We're looking to punch a hole to resolve this Grave Titan next turn. Nagate, Lightning Bolt. Okay, just take the Nagate. So there's like a leveling thing here too. If I leave them the negate, there's a chance that they don't shock in the land. So that way they don't have Snap Logic dot up next turn, and then I can stick the Grave Titan. Yeah, Fetch is a good draw there. I think I'm gonna fire up Hissing Quagmire here since I drew a 7th land, because this encourages them to snap Lightning Bolt at this, which then means they can't snap Logic, not the Grave Titan, which is nice. Yeah, there was in the whole Chalice of the Void Gate debacle with idiots arguing about the rules they don't understand on Twitter. Someone was like, the rules shouldn't functionally change Magic cards and how they work. I was like, does that mean Mog Fanatic and Sakura-Tribe Elder get to put damage on the stack again? Is that where you're going with this? Is that what you think? I just want to clarify that this is what you're implying. You're implying that Mog Fanatic and Steve should be allowed to put damage on the stack. Because that's what you're saying. Because the rules functionally changed those cards. Do we shoot the Colonnade right away? Nope. Probably not. Maybe. Okay, this is fine. Yeah, that's also true. For a while, we did require it. And then we decided this was silly and we're going back to the old way. Zero Logic not. It's really unfortunate for us. Oh, I think we're dead, chat. Our deck full of expensive cards has died to the deck full of counterspells. Weird. Might be a quick first couple of decks. I only put 4 decks on the schedule for today, but maybe we're gonna end up getting more than that. Oh, I don't. If they flip Azcanta, I get to kill it with Field of Ruin, so I really don't care if they flip Azcanta. While we're waiting for the second match in this league to go, I'd just like to thank everyone for hanging out here today. Welcome. My name is Chef Hoagland. I'm a full-time stream meme content producer here on Twitch. I'm here playing Magic 30+ hours a week on this channel. If you can't catch all of my stuff live, be sure to check out my YouTube channel as well, youtube.com/Chef Hoagland, or my website, just jeffhoagland.com. All the content I make gets archived in those places, and I break it up by deck so you can watch just the stuff that you care about. If you're enjoying my stuff and want to help me keep making this stuff as often as I do, please consider subscribing to my channel. My subscribers are quite literally the people that keep me employed. I wouldn't be here day in and day out without their very wonderful support. Past that, you can support my stuff by checking out some of my very wonderful sponsors. Cardsphere.com would love to help you turn some of your cards into other cards directed to other players. There's no haggling. They just take a 1% fee off the top. InkedGaming.com would love to help you customize your gaming experience using code Jeff12. You save 12% on custom playmats, mouse pads, binders, and bags with them. CoolStuffInc.com buys and sells a lot of cool stuff, including TCG singles. Using promo code Jeff5, you save 5% on Magic, Pokemon, and Yu-Gi-Oh cards with them. And of course, this stream wouldn't be possible without viewers like Anaronix, Justin Nivik, and all y'all out there. Thanks for hanging out today. We're heading on into our second match with our green-black Journey to Eternity deck. Seeing if we could scrape together a couple of wins. I think it's probably safe to say the deck full of counterspells and removal is probably a worse matchup for us. If one of these was a Steve, this would be very good, but I don't think we can keep a hand in good conscience in Modern that doesn't do anything for forever. Journey to 0-3 drop. Part of the problem with Journey to Eternity 2, though, is that a lot of the decks that Journey to Eternity that kind of go long plan is good against in Modern are also going to be decks that, like, play Field of Ruin. So it's like you got to think about what your payoff is doing and the types of matches where that payoff's going to be good, and then thinking about what those decks and the types of tools that those play. I like it. I like it. Okay, we got some pack rats. I think I actually just take a pack rat here, right? We did play Scred Swans. It was quick for a reason. Perplexel. This was a basically deck building challenge submission. I had somebody send over a decent sized donation to see me try and build a Journey to Eternity deck that I felt could potentially be competitive. It's definitely a tough building requirement to like make competitive in a format like Modern. Cards like Journey to Eternity, something that are doing something that's like pretty reasonably powerful on the surface. These are the types of cards that I really look forward to playing in whatever new constructed format that Magic's going to have at some point, because if Rosewater said that a new constructed format is a when, it's not an if. It's definitely happening at some point. You know, Modern, as the card pool just gets bigger and bigger, is just eventually, you know, it becomes harder and harder as the format becomes more efficient for new cards to have a meaningful impact on Modern. So, you know, these cards like Journey to Eternity that seem kind of interesting or neat now, they, you know, they don't really have the power to have an impact on Modern like they could in a format with a slightly lower power level. Honey saved me $10, so have some bits. Thank you, Wannabe Beetle. Yeah, so the question here is, do I want to push the pack rat now, or do I want to give them a chance to make some rats and then Damnation to clear things up? Eternity is only enchant a creature you control. which adds another layer of this card is hard to enable. Oh gosh. They put more draw 3s in their Bedlam Reveler deck, chat. They put more draw 3s in their Bedlam Reveler deck. I like the inclusion of Shambling Vent in their deck. Some Mardu Pyromancer lists have been moving away from playing Blood Moon altogether, and I don't hate that decision. Like, Blood Moon is a card that's kind of medium in Modern right now, in my opinion, and I like the idea of getting to leverage some creature lands, especially I think Shambling Vent is very good. No, I think making if you want to play a rotating format, play Standard. That's literally why Standard exists. I think making Modern a rotating format is bad. People play formats like Modern because they like playing formats where the decks that they like playing are always legal. Like, that's why people like formats like Modern. They know that, like, I have this Modern deck, and 6 months from now, I could come back and still play with my deck. I could take, like, a break from Magic and, like, come back and still, like, know that my deck is playable. We do get to do a thing. You're not wrong. Non-rotating format existed Origins forward. You think there need to be a ban list, and what would be on it? I don't know. I think you could probably make an argument from Origins forward that you would want to probably ban Felidar Guardian and maybe an energy card, but I don't know. I don't know. With Origins and stuff, maybe the energy stuff is fine. Treasure Cruise isn't included in Origins forward. None of the Delve cards or fetch lands are. So... Collected Company predates Origins. Collected Company was in Dragons of Tarkir. No. Whatever new non-rotating format we get, you don't want fetch lands in it. Fetch lands suck. Yeah, honestly, I might just, if there was a new format, I'd probably remove some of the more degenerate things that would likely exist in it, but by and large, I think I would probably just see how it shakes out, just by default. I just want to play with Thopter Spy Network again, so that's why I would really like if it was Origins forward. I really want to register the card Thopter Spy Network. Going back to Origins is a lot of cards. When was Origin? How many sets is Origins forward at this point? Does anybody know offhand? Oh god. Oh god. Our opponent's deck just embodies everything about why I hate playing control decks often in Modern, because a lot of people that play Modern hate losing to grindy decks. And, like, their deck has Bedlam. They've taken Mardu Pyromancer, which is arguably the grindiest deck in the format, and added more 2-for-1s and 3-for-1s to it. Your original deck with Thopter Spy Network is why I started watching the show. That deck was sweet. That deck was awesome. I had a lot of fun with it. Well, I get to take the Bedlam Reveler. Watch your hand just be like 2 Bedlam Revelers. So, and this is kind of, you know, our deck's kind of getting to do its thing, and our thing kind of isn't good enough. You know, we're like... I'm going to bring back Steve and just trade him for the young Pyromancer here. What did I think of Arena yesterday? Arena felt very reasonable. They drew a Bolt. That's sad. I'm taking 6 here, down to 6. I think of Ponza. I think Ponza's a really terrible Magic deck. I think it's a deck that doesn't interact with the board consistently, which makes it not good enough for Modern. Modern's a format where decks get on board very quickly, and having a plan B playing a bunch of Stone Rains is generally not good enough in Modern. I mean, that sounds exactly like a deck that's just got not enough interaction with. They're just going to get rolled over and die in Modern a whole bunch. It's really easy to put a bunch of cards in your deck that don't impact the board. There are infinite 3, 4, 5 mana cards that you can play in Modern that don't impact the board and aren't fast enough. It's very, very easy to build a deck full of those. Alright, Last Hope, an extra Streeper, Wurmcoil, Golgari Charm. Decay may or may not be good here. Fume Spitter actually seems fine. I'm just going to trim these discard spells. Yeah, Liliana the Veil's probably pretty medium. They have a lot of tokens. Is red-green next? Yep. The stream title lists the decks in the order in which we're going to play them. I mean, this is a handful of Magic cards. How has Journey been? Clunky and bad. Is a card that is hard to enable and that the payoff on is difficult to actually get in Modern. Yep. In the donation queue or linked in the deck widget under the stream, there are links to pictures of the red-green Hollow Evolution deck. I always try to make information accessible to people watching the stream. I know there's a lot of streamers that don't take the time to link stuff or do the stream decker, but I think it's important to allow people to have access to the information that they're going to want. There is a blog post from Mark Rosewater saying that a new non-rotating format is a when, not an if. That's what we've got to go on. We get Blightning it again and then curl up in a little ball and cry. And honestly, the reason why they're probably waiting to I would if I were to venture a guess, I would bet the reason that they're waiting to implement a new non-rotating format in Arena until next fall is because they're going to backcode some sets. The easiest way to make decks like this consistently bad is to put a bunch of bad cards in them. So putting a bunch of underpowered cards like Satyr Wayfinder in our deck is a great way to make your deck clunky and bad. One of the best ways, if you look at this deck that we're playing, basically all of the cards that I'm playing in this deck are modern playable cards outside of Journey to Eternity. You could argue that this kind of isn't a modern playable card, but a lot of what we have here is modern playable cards. Oh, I don't think I can afford to risk this to a fatal push. I do wonder about if they're going to have the resources to backcode sets or scrambling to keep up with standard releases. Going to be, I mean, they backcoded kids these days don't remember installing Magic Online on a dial-up modem 15 plus years ago. Like, Magic Online didn't start with every Magic set in it, chat. Magic Online slowly back-added sets too. Like, that's just the realistic of it. Yeah, the first time I installed Magic Online, it came on a CD that came with a physical pack of Magic cards that I bought, and I installed it on a dial-up internet connection. Next fall is in 2019. Next fall. This fall is fall 2018. Next fall is fall 2019. And unfortunately, they were carrying 2 spears here, so they were able to deal with our Thragtusk. Good thing is they do make a Frontier format and have it on paper. The Arena version will be a lot cheaper. Kind of fatal fail. Like, the problem with how the Arena system works is that, like, it's difficult to translate between decks. So while, like, it's kind of easy to get your first deck, it's expensive to get your next deck, because you have to buy enough cards to get enough wild cards to get another deck. Like, I can't... Like, people talk about, are they going to back add cards from Modern to Arena? Could you imagine trying to build a Modern deck the way Arena is? You're like, well, my deck has cards from 12 different sets in it. I guess we're going to randomly buy booster packs from 12 different sets until we have A, the cards we want, or B, enough wild cards to make this work. Like, that doesn't sound like a pleasant user experience. Bye-bye, Journey. And I'm sure we're going to draw another Steve now. Hopefully we can just draw an untapped land and play this Grave Titan. That would be nice. How much Dragon's Maze do you have to open to get voices? Alright. Alright, I'm going to try and slog through one more before we move on to decks that are a little bit more competitive. It's much more expensive if you don't want to invest your time. Do you know what my time's worth? I don't know what your time is worth, but if I'm doing something that I really don't want to do, I value my time at like a minimum of $25 an hour. Maybe more than that if it's really tedious and boring and something that I don't want to do. Your time is money. People that talk about the things being free don't understand that their time is valuable. My time that I'm spending doing something tedious for the tedious part of a game that I don't actually want to play, that's time I could be spending with my family. That's time I could be spending making money doing software development or streaming or something else that like actually makes me dollars. So the actual dollar cost is the most important part, because whatever amount of stuff they're giving you for free, that the dollar, if you don't enjoy the earning it part, you're wasting your money by not spending your money, is effectively what it comes down to. Correct. That is exactly correct. Most free-to-play games, if you just get a minimum wage job, you're better off than grinding the stuff you don't enjoy. And don't get me wrong, if you enjoy the free-to-play grind, if you have fun, if that's a part of the game that's engaging for you, that you enjoy interacting with, then you can and should do it, and it's literally free for you. But if you don't enjoy that grind aspect, if you don't have fun with it, you are an idiot for partaking in the free-to-play grind if you don't enjoy it. You should just go work literally any job and earn money and then just buy the experience that you actually want to be having. And again, there's an important distinction there. Opportunity cost is a big one. If you actually enjoy playing bad decks against each other and grinding something up, if that part of the game is fun for you, then you can and should enjoy it. Different people enjoy different things, and that's okay. Me, personally, I think that's miserable, and that's not how I enjoy games, so it's not for me. I come for decks like these. Jeff has too much fun winning when he's playing good decks. Yep, yeah, I agree, Rob. And that's definitely not even just a Magic player thing. That's just like a human thing. No, this deck is terrible. And I generally try to play a minimum of 3 matches with decks, so I list 2, but generally I like to play 3 to kind of give people a range of stuff. Yeah, I agree, Flight of Whales. And to be completely upfront with people here, again, you know, this stream is my business. I do this as a job. I've rejected lots of Journey to Eternity decks. This deck was submitted with a $75 donation asking me to build the best Journey to Eternity deck I felt I could build. And this is the result. I spent a half hour going through deck lists online, going through cards on the Gatherer, looking for things I felt I could put in here that would be reasonable. Surprised more games don't acknowledge that adults with income play these games. We don't want to spend 40 hours grinding so we can play. Well, I mean, they do acknowledge that, Steve's Train, because what it comes down to at the end of the day for a lot of those adults with jobs, like, if you actually really like the game, it doesn't really matter to you what it costs, right? Like, Christy and I were out playing Pokemon Go last night, and my inventory was full of items and I didn't really have anything I wanted to trash. I'd like already trashed all my berries and stuff. So I gave Niantic $10 so I could have a bunch more slots in my item bag. And I didn't feel bad giving Niantic $10 because I like playing Pokemon Go, and I've spent probably dozens of hours playing Pokemon Go at this point. And that's, you know, as an adult with a job, I feel like I was buying the experience that I wanted to have, and I was okay with that. The only, and this is one that people miss a lot of the time. The only reason free to play exists in video games is so the whales who spend money have a variety of people to play with. That is the only reason free to play exists. I've heard lots of absurd things spouted from TCG players and Magic players and video game players saying things like, they say things that are absurd, like Wizards doesn't care about the monetary experience of Arena. It's only designed to be a free-to-play game. No. Arena is being designed to make Wizards of the Coast money. That's why Arena exists. Free-to-play is there to get people in, to get them to spend money, and so the people who are fully free-to-play create a variety of gameplay experiences for people who are spending money. The only thing we have returned to play with Journey to Eternity so far is Sakura-Tribe Elder. What about games like Dota 2, where all you can buy is hats? That's interesting. I don't actually know the mechanics. I'm not familiar enough with the industry surrounding games that only sell cosmetics to know how the monetization and, you know, are there whales that exist in those games, etc. too. So Overwatch, and I think Guild Wars 2 as well, Overwatch has a cost to buy the game, right? Like Overwatch isn't a free game that you buy, that you just get. Overwatch you have to buy for $40. I spent over $2,000 on League cosmetics in the last 7 years. Well, there you go. There you go. Found a whale. Found a whale. And you know what? Again, if you're an adult who has disposable income and it's not irresponsible for you, it's not irresponsible for you to spend money on things that you enjoy, right? Like that you can't take the money to the grave with you. If you enjoy having cosmetics in those games, there's nothing wrong with buying that if there's something that you like. The term whale is used in the gaming industry to describe someone who spends a significant amount of money on a product. We won a game, chat. We're on the scoreboard. We cast Thragtusk and Grave Titans and we won us a game of Magic. Alright. I don't know what we're doing. Alright, so they're an aggro deck, so I probably want my cheap removal and this Collective Brutality. Probably don't want these Thoughtseizes. I'm gonna trim a Grave Titan. Alright, let's do it. How do we play a Thragtusk and 2 Grave Titans? Well, we had our friend Steve here helping us out. Came for the content, stayed for the wisdom, well, and the content too. Greg, thanks for the 8-month resubscription. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Correct, Wannabe Beetle. My whales are listed below the stream. My whales are listed below the stream. You know, we're talking about about free-to-play games. My donation deck list system, in a way, is like a pseudo free-to-play game, right? Like, it's cheap to add a deck to the queue, but then you choose past that how soon you want to see the deck is paid with either extra money or time. Like, my system's not super innovative, right? Like, it's modeled after other systems that generate revenue. Relative newcomer to your stream, where does the name Steve come from? Steve is not a name that I can lay claim to. It's just, as far as I know, I forget where the first time I heard Steve. Basically, Sakura-Tribe Elder, S-T-E, and then V-E just makes the name out of the first 3 letters. Yeah, I guess you can technically watch ads for a bit, so you could technically consider my donation leagues completely free to play. Yeah, I guess that's true. I hadn't thought about it like that. Make some weird whale noises. Martin Hanner. Alright. It's possible that the duress mode on this bricks. It did not. Sweet. No, I don't think so, Waffle, but I actually don't know for sure. I don't think it's an invitational cards are usually depicted as humans. So if the donation queue is a free-to-play game, are we playing MTG or Jeff Hoagland? You're playing Hoaglandia. It's not, and this is an important distinction for people that watch the channel. It's not that Monday is the only day for memes. It's that Monday is only memes. So memes are welcome on this channel every day of the week. But Monday is exclusively guaranteed all memes. I think we're just gonna drain them for 4 here. I'm not gonna discard this land, I don't think, because we have Thragtusk in our deck. Hogland, like Candyland, but meme themed. They cast Ensnaring Bridge. Oh gosh, I am just the smartest and the thinnest, chat. Just the smartest and the thinnest. I'll have you know, I currently have farmed 1,400 bits. That's a good amount of bits. It's a solid number of bitlies. Alright, if we draw Journey to Eternity, we could Edict our Thragtusk. I have 2 Abrupt Decays and Maelstrom Pulse in my deck, right? I have 2 Abrupt Decays and Maelstrom Pulse. Launchpad GG, thank you for the 2-month free subscription. I really appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me employed here. There is a candy emote. Of course there's a candy emote. What do you think? What do you think this is? Is there a candy emote? What kind of question is that? Let's not post racially motivated comments in chat. Thanks. Alright, Liliana gained us 5 there. You know, that's all you can really ask for, right? Kill it with the power of 1,000 suns. The Maelstrom. Alright. This is gonna be a little bit fatal. Oh gosh, chat, are we gonna win a match? Are we gonna win a match? I think we might be about to get on the scoreboard. I think we're slowly clawing our way onto the scoreboard, chat. All right, scoreboard. Okay, feels good. We didn't do Journey to Eternity stuff. We just kind of played a green-black ramp deck. The 3/2 dream is alive and well. Why is there a Goblet Guide in it? So, Ensnaring Bridge isn't super uncommon in burn-style decks. It is, however, kind of uncommon to leave a bunch of your creatures in while you have Ensnaring Bridge. Nah, we'll never get to the 1/4 dream. We'll concede the league before then. Alright, looks like Hardened Scales here. I think I actually just want to push this off a cliff, so they don't have a chance to modular it onto anything. Maybe that's aggressive since I don't have a ton of removal. Keeping their board clear also makes Liliana the Veil a little bit better, though, which is nice. Which X creature do you have? Alright. Yeah, I think I'm just trading Liliana for the front half of this. Moto's always molasses. The drinking age in America is so silly. I like to where you can drive a car, you can vote in elections, but you can't drink alcohol. Sure. How do you deal with Affinity as green, black, and Jund? Play lots of quality pieces of spot removal. Pick their key cards apart. And then beat them to death with the Tarmogoyf. You can join the military. Yep, that's another good one. The fields are okay here, but their creature lands aren't how we're dying. Yeah, if they keep missing, we do have 2 copies of Damnation in our deck, so if we rip a Damnation here, that could definitely pull us back into this game. Nexus with the $5 donation. Will this push Amulet to today? Yeah, if we have time for a 5th deck today, and it's kind of looking like we might, Amulet will be the 5th deck that we play today. Thanks for the support. So if we make it to a 5th deck today, it will definitely be Amulet. Alright, this isn't blocking, so let's attack with it since we don't have anything better to do with our mana. So we're taking probably 3, 4, 5 here. Has the opponent's deck put up any numbers in tournaments? It finished 9th place in a Grand Prix, and it's had fringe results off and on in smaller tournaments as well. We played it on stream a couple of times too. It's felt pretty reasonable every time we've played it. Alright, this next card needs to be like Damnation or we're pretty done here. I can't Maelstrom Pulse the Walking Ballistas because if I target one with Maelstrom Pulse, they're just gonna remove counters from it, so it dies, and then I won't kill the other one. But 2 lists in the top 8 of the last mocks. Neat. Abrupt Decay and Golgari Charm both seem good here. Fume Spitter and Fatal Push seem good. Bontu and Liliana seem good. I'm just gonna cut this plan. Just gonna try and win a game of Magic with reasonable cards here. Yeah. These Thoughtseizes are probably a little medium. Winning with reasonable cards, right? Yeah, their deck kind of like goes into an absurd overdrive mode when they have access to their namesake card. Like now, thankfully we have this discard spell into a Damnation, which is nice. You could maybe argue I should have Inquisition on 1 here, but eh. I guess I'm taking... I guess I'm taking a Hangerback Walker, because it helps them rebuild through a Damnation. Oh, God. Yeah, we're just super dead. I guess I can draw a Fatal Push. So I can Fatal Push the Hangerback Walker and then cast Damnation here. But if we don't draw Fatal Push... If we don't draw Fatal Push, it's gonna be lights out here pretty much. What do you think of the whole Cedric Phillips situation and note? I thought his note on Facebook was A+. The whole situation just kind of sucks. Like, you know, just another one of those things. Like, it's the Alex situation feels a lot like the card stock situation. You know when like basically the entire Magic community agrees on something that like maybe Wizards of the Coast is messed up here and they need to do something about it. Oh, even Fatal Push doesn't really do it because of this welding jar, right? Go to the main Magic subreddit. There's a link there. Yeah, we have Maelstrom Pulse. We'll take a draw step for Pulse. Yeah, I agree, Waffle. I enjoy having kind of this step back relationship where I get to do Magic as a job here, basically, but I get to not care about a lot of the stupid stuff that goes on with that, because it just doesn't impact me. And it's nice to just be able to ignore it. And I get that there's a lot of people that are heavily invested in Magic in the competitive aspect that feel like they can't. I've been there, but it's just tough. So they get 13 1/1s here. So we need a Maelstrom Pulse or another Damnation. Actually, Maelstrom Pulse doesn't do it because they have Throne of Geth. I need exactly my second Damnation. I'm going to do the wrap up on this deck now, so that way I can jump right to other things. This deck is bad. It's a bad green-black rock deck. I don't think Journey to Eternity is a card that can really be competitive in Modern. I think it just has too many moving parts. It's not only hard to flip initially, but it's also difficult to be able to consistently leverage the payoff that it gives you once it's flipped. So I think it's just not, it's one of those cards that I think is interesting and powerful, and if there was ever a new non-rotating format, or when there's a new non-rotating format, it'll be a card that's going to be worth exploring in that. But as far as Modern is concerned, I say this a lot, right? Modern is a format that's about tempo, mana efficiency, and impacting the board consistently, and nothing about Journey to Eternity plays into any of those things. It's not mana efficient, it doesn't generate you tempo, it doesn't really impact the board until much, much later. So, this is definitely a failed experiment.